Hey, hey, hey. Hopefully you can hear me. Um, okay, let me just test my mic somewhere. Um, Let me just test my mic somewhere. Okay, cool. This is working. Smashing. Okay, cool. Entire screen. That feels good. Awesome. So let's get into this. So what I'm going to be doing today is I thought it'd be cool to create your own 11 Labs audio, what's it called? Podcast co-host. And so what I'm going to be doing is using 11 Labs. Not even too sure like what technology stack I'm going to use, but what I'm aiming to do is to kind of live work, let people see how sort of an AI engineer does actually pull together these projects, how I fix bugs on the fly, how I code, basically just letting you into all the processes that I use to generate projects, let's say. And there's not going to be any structure to this, but what you'll find along the way is that I will start using stuff like Cursor, 11 Labs, and Lovable, basically some of my coding frameworks and kind of processes that allow me to go from idea to built and tested very, very quickly. Just to explain my setup, like I've got Brave browser running, I've got Cursor running, I've got an environment variable here where I'm going to be storing my custom API tokens. I've already put that in, but I'm starting absolutely fresh with a fresh chat, fresh file. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to say I actually also have Super Whisper, so I can actually just talk into my mic and then it can code. So I want this to create a venv and install pandas, and venv just to start with. That wasn't a very good example of why I used that, but another thing I want to look for is 11 Labs Python SDK. This is terrible. There we go. So we've got that here. Pip install 11 Labs. Okay, cool. So I'll run this on the side where I'm creating a Python venv. The reason you create a venv is so that you can install specific packages and you can port it in different places and you can move it around and it doesn't install everything on your computer at the like high level, which is important. And it's going to create a requirements.txt, which will just show up the different stuff that we're using. Okay, it's creating a README file, document this up. Fine. Okay. Fine. Yeah. Please install and Fast API as well. So the reason we're doing the SDK in Fast API is because I might want to use the API version of 11 Labs, and then Fast API allows us to build our own API that can interact with different types of data and services. So what I want to be doing here is, and hopefully you can see this okay, I will zoom in actually on the code. Window, zoom. Oh, no, that's not what I want. What I want is cursor, view, appearance. Can I zoom in? Okay, so it's this. Fine. Yeah, we'll stick with that. I think that's better. And so my thinking here is like, first of all, I'm going to go and do a new file. I'm going to say like, what do I want? Do I want .text? Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to probably just speak into this and let it sit there because I'm just going to ideate quickly. And this is something I do quite a lot, is where I have Super Whisper, I can transcribe my thoughts and I can speak out loud. I can get it into some kind of text editor and I can go and, what's it called? I'll just run that and accept that. Yeah, fine. It's installing some stuff that we need and it's just getting me to read you the requirements of text. Back to what I want. So I was thinking, one of the real cool like learning experiences I have is when you explain what you know to people that are looking to understand what you do, learn from you, and you have to explain things in different ways so that they understand, and also just exploring concepts. And now, when you think of it from like a selfish perspective, a person on the other end of the screen in a podcast is often a gateway to your best thoughts. And this is like a really intimate conversation. And so I thought, well, actually, there's probably some space for people to create podcast hosts with themselves. And I thought this would be useful for me too, where I can just load up podcast host. I can give them the conversation I want, kind of thing, some background that they have, and I give them a profile so that people can listen to how I would navigate certain issues or just talk conceptually about certain things. It could be 10 minutes, it could be 5 minutes, I'm not too sure. But the goal here is that I load something up that's functional, that I can then start my podcast, record it, and set it up in Descript or something, and be able to push it live. And really, it's just about having a conversational agent that can use different tools, I guess, and has different prompts. But the idea would be it'd be quite easy to program. So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. So I'm just going to bang this into what do I want. And what I might do here is I'm going to go for a new one. Oh, actually, I don't want that in there. I want it in there. Save this. I'm going to view and wrap this. So what do I want to text? Okay, so I can say, based on what do I want to text, please create a boilerplate Ginger, which is a type of way of rendering a HTML thing. And I might not use Lovable for this because it might not be necessary. Fast API app where we can start to record. We can actually we can start to use the let me do web conversational agents by 11 Labs, whether through the SDK or otherwise, not too sure. Also, please also add on a structured project above the original notes. And so what I'll do is here, I'll just sort of put original notes. One thing I usually do is like, you can either do like caps and then a semicolon, or sometimes you might just do like this, which is like XML type stuff, where you'd have like you'd have like project plan, and then it will fill in there. So I'm just going to run this now, and hopefully what I'm expecting. What doesn't make any sense? The invalid model. I'll just do auto then. That should have worked, but we'll just run with it. Okay, fine. So it wants to create some basic stuff, and that's great. So I'll just let that do its thing. And so hopefully it should finally also update the what do I want piece as well. And so what we've got, so what I'm actually going to run through now while that's building is I'm going to look at this conversational AI. I already have one agent called support agent that I'm trialing. But what this has is it has a knowledge base, which is awesome. So you can add some text and files. You can add phone numbers, which I don't think we'll be using. And then we've got agents. So what if I go to Playground, sales agent, video game character, start from blank, create. No, so I want to go to agents, create a new agent, just a blank template, create this agent. Oh, let's do podcast co-host. And agent English. So now the idea here was like, it didn't actually, can you update the file? What do I with project? Simple project plan. What I'm thinking here is like, so if I test this AI agent, I can just talk to it, yeah? So the first question I have is like, let me go up here, sort of, no, and sort of big questions. And this is project plan. I'll just do a slow caps. Can't bother to keep doing it. So how will we invoke the AI agent? And then also like, how can we programmatically give it the, and I guess we're going to go for like, we're a system prompt, knowledge base, and tools. Like, yeah, like do even need tools? Because what I'm thinking is web search could be quite good for this, for like live fact checking, which we can go and explore in a second. So we've got some documents, use RAG to increase the medium size. That's something we could do as well. Custom tool, which is a webhook. So what you do, sorry, excuse me, what you could do here, what I'll probably try and do is build something so that, and I don't know how we'd make it obvious. Maybe I'll create something in Pipedream where we can expose a webhook that will, basically offer us a web search tool just via a webhook where you can go and get a response. And maybe we'll just, I don't know how we do that. Yeah, I think you can run that in Pipedream. Maybe just do a simple GET request or something, which is fine. Yes, so just thinking here, workplace secret, somewhere about that. Temperature, deterministic, creative, more creative. Yes, so I think creative is relatively fine. Which LLM you use? I would rather use like one of the better ones. So 3.5 Sonnet seems to be relatively decent. GPT 4.1. God, Flash is just so cheap though. That's unreal. But we're not here to save money. We're here to create something really cool. So first message, this is a, hey, David. Great to be on today's podcast. And then new variable. We could just do like looking forward to talking about new variable, which is a podcast. Oh no, sorry, I got that wrong. Podcast theme. Cool. And let's go to voice. I mean, to be honest, voice I'm not too bothered about. Low latency use cases, I think I'll turn off. We'll use turbo. We'll try that first. We'll leave this as it is. Enter placeholder value, AI agents. Let's just leave this. Save that. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we need to send this in via the API. So these are fallback in case there's something else. That's the first message and system prompt. So next we have to, what will be our system prompt? This should probably like provide dynamic set of questions, ability to feed off of what I say, actually probably more important, to develop better like conversations, because it's not going to be it's not going to be really fun if it's just like just says the same questions all the time, or just keeps going like one after the other, like, okay, what do you think about this? Okay, what do you think about this? Like, we want to actually develop a conversation and go down certain rabbit holes. So I think that'll be really cool. Yeah, so just checking chat now. Cool. So in the Python SDK, what I sometimes do as well in Cursor is I'll go to docs. I'll grab this Python SDK. What about agent WebSockets? Yes, this is what I want. If I do add a new one, Conversation. I'll do 11 labs. Confirm. I wish you could download this stuff. I mean, you can talk to it, to be fair, but what I really want is what I really want is this kind of figuring out how to use this thing. Yeah. Agents, create agent, stream, simulate conversation. What's this? Okay, so this isn't obvious how we go about doing this. But I assume that you just load in the agent ID, which is this thing here. Let's try it, see if it can work. Agent ID string here. Can you connect? So it's connected now. So send a message. There's no message in there, obviously. Just publish. It's started. No, it's supposed to connect. User audio chunk. Okay, maybe I'll just talk in this then, and then we'll try say, hey, how you doing? See if it replies something. And then, so it's not connected. Right. Okay. So because what we're trying to do is, if we go to skdk.conversational, okay, cool, we can go down here. Because essentially, if you test this AI agent, you can just do that, and it's great. That might be the simplest way to do it, but as a developer, I don't like doing that. And so I want to make sure that we try and get this right, and we can actually program this into something. Okay. So 36, yeah, fine. API reference. Quick start. Okay. Okay, yeah, configure the voice, that's all fine. I want integration quick start. That's what I want. Okay, so they're using TypeScript. Let's have a look. Right, okay. Maybe I'm biting off more than I can chew here. Because I just assumed you could just like load up a WebSocket and talk to this thing, which is like really what I wanted. Maybe I can actually just load up Claude here. And I can say, what do I want? Okay, research how to do this in Python. So we'll let this like kind of run its thing, because what I'm finding already is that it's forcing me to use TypeScript, which I'm not like a massive fan of, but I don't know why it's doing that when, and I guess it's already just installing some of the stuff, but what I actually want is to actually integrate this stuff. Dashboard, okay, fine. Docs agent, no. Creation. Cow.com is pretty interesting. Yeah. Difficult. So let's have a look. Conversational AI agents. Conversations. Yeah, you see, this is like what I was trying to do earlier, setting placeholders and what have you. Okay, cool. So there's something here. Wicked. Okay, so showing us how we can create some dynamic variations. And I guess I guess the problem I have is like generating and creating the this isn't working for some reason. Yeah. I guess actually like the best way to do this is just to load this up and then test this. And then I guess can you record? Let me just check if I call it. Okay, cool. What happens now then? So I guess actually the best thing to do here is you copy this link, you just talk to it, right? And then that's your podcast host. And you just like split screen that, I guess. And you just have to build the system prompt. And so there's like a couple ways you can just change it each time you go in, I guess. So Eric, perfect conversational American. Let's do Archer. Cool. And that's a security advanced widget. Embed code. Yeah, so you can actually just lob this in somewhere. Enable muting during a call, no. Compact, need help. Compact is fine. Yeah, and I guess call history is what we want to have a look at. So yeah, messages 3, transcription. Okay, cool. So it's actually fairly cool. It's like, it's not even a cent. And yeah, okay. So I think actually you actually don't even need to code that much here or at all. So what I'd probably be doing is getting rid of this to start with. Let's get rid of that. Sorry, get rid of this. And what I'm going to be doing is, that's not working. Claude, great. Actually, no, I can load cursor back up. That'd be fine. And what do I want? I'll do view quickly, word wrap. So then I'll get rid of index.html, although I'm curious to see how it works. So I'm just going to run play here. And, abstract does not exist. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Because I guess all you would have to actually do is just load in this. If I go back to agents here, you would go and have a look at this, and you would go to ACK docs. No, that's not right. you would go to widget and just like drop that in somewhere. Script source, async type. Just thinking if we can program it via API some way before we lob it on to our thing. But not to worry. I think that we will be able to still do something with this. So when I think about my own podcast, I have a file that is, if I go here, yeah, I can upload some stuff into a knowledge base. So I can add, HBS moonlabs.io, add that URL. Add some files. Where is it? Okay, I have to look in a second. You go to need to share my screen. AI solutions overview. And our file download as a PDF. Download, save. So now I will go back to the entire screen. And I will add this file. Add that file. There we go. Okay, cool. So now in this agent, I'm going to add these knowledge base files. And I'm going to say, yep, use RAG. So it's just going to index it now. Essentially, what I want to do is I want to give it, so maybe a tool could be interesting, but for now, I'm just going to say, okay, cool. This is the stuff that you have. System prompt. And we want to design a system prompt. So I'm going to go to Claude and I'm going to say, based on what I want, please create a system prompt for the AI agent I'll be speaking to. Bear in mind, I want to be able to swap out the day's content pretty easily. So props. Yeah, so it probably does make sense to have some kind of internet search that, like, you're just relying on stagnant data and what have you. But we'll just see how it does with without any tools. And then see what happens. Yeah. So the thing is, this will become fairly routine, but maybe that's not a bad thing. Today's setup. Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can just go down the bottom. So we will save this. I'm going to get rid of that. It's not indexing this at all. Can't save because the indexing progress. Fine. Okay, cool. So my thoughts here. Don't change anything to the start. I'll just actually just remove that top bit. We'll keep this nice and sort of sectioned off. So today's session is about daily topics. So we would just change this every time we go in. So today I'll be talking about, let's just say, logistics and data capture. Context. So we did some automation in this space, lots of learnings. We want to do this for 10 minutes. Key questions to explore, how to find the AI automation opportunities. How does data get from one place to another? How do we not replace people and jobs? Fine. So that would be today's setup. And I think this would honestly be absolutely fine. So what we'll do is we'll copy this link in a sec. Once I can save it, I might just. Why is this not indexing? This is incredibly annoying. To remove this quickly. Just add some documents. Just save this. See if this is quicker now. See if this does it. Right, let's just test this now. Yeah, okay, cool. So I should have changed that. But okay, cool. So do you know about Moon Labs AI? No, but can you give me some examples of projects that they've done? Cool. Yeah. So if I just go and take off this, like you can already tell that this is going to be, I mean, it's pretty good considering all I did was upload some documents and someone can now talk and ask questions about like what I've done. And obviously it took time to like build this document, this document of, first of all, but essentially like very quickly, I've got a voice agent that can go and um, you know talk. So let's try now the podcast. Let me just change the agent quickly so that it looking forward to talking about um, let me just change this to this and let's test this again. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, good to speak to you too. So where should we start? It was actually inbound. So, client reached out to me after I did a podcast, and they were like, "Oh, we're doing too much kind of manual work, and we think that AI could be the solution, but we're not too sure. So we need someone to come and look at it." Yeah, cool. So you can just see like this is already as far as how do you say like creating content. I think wouldn't be too bad if this is just what's bringing out the ideas. And yeah, I guess it's listening to me now, so we'll see what it says in a second. But just for the podcast host, just for your reference, I'm talking to my audience as I live stream this. So if you want to say hello, say hello. Yeah, they were using Excel, copy and pasting data from Excel between systems. There was no like unified data between all of them. And there was no continuity. So kind of looked at the forms that they were building as well, and we integrated it all into Airtable, which was sort of that play of, unifying the data source and unifying the data that kind of gets pushed around, so that we have like one single source of truth, but also just stop them, entering the same data and over again. Yeah, I mean, Anna talked about this actually, where she was like, we didn't expect this to work, and we were dubious because if they were very in control of the process, it was just they had a high frequency of doing the same process, but like Anna had full control over it, and I think that was like a big concern. And one of the the loops that we had to jump over was probably the finding out the complexity of delivery jobs and the variances and how to manage that in a non-deterministic way. So basically, like you can't account for everything. So we kind of got the 80-20 rule working where 80% of the the jobs that were repetitive were able to be put through there, but the 20% still get managed by their team with a close eye. So that was like kind of a big learning. One of the big improvements there was just how quick the repetitive jobs became after we implemented this kind of API connection between Airtable and the various carriers. Can you repeat the question? I kind of zoned out. Sorry, I was putting AirPods in. Can you repeat again, please? Okay, just as a side note, now I'm just thinking like this. So this is where I would actually take my time and get them to repeat it. Maybe record my screen quickly. Where, and for reference, podcast host, I'm kind of self critiquing this experience that I'm going through because I'm thinking like, okay, one of the sort of notes I've got is the type of questions, if too specific, not properly like audience centric. So, for example, that question around like what kind of data. Oh, for some reason that just logged off. Um, that type of data was why is it only 5 minutes? Huh, interesting. Um, yeah, so if if the not properly like audience centric, so um, what we want instead is of course a bit of deeping deep dives, but really we want nuanced thought that leads to situational kind of situational like comparison, like what are people going through as well. So I'll just add this into the prompt that we had. If I just open this up, okay, quick feedback. The agent was very good, but I want it to improve. I'm gonna do that. So, yeah, we'll see what it comes up with here. But essentially, right. Okay, cool. Can you create this in a markdown file format that when I copy paste, it retains the hashtags? Because I think that's going to work better when I go back into the agent and I create some. It needs some formatting in here as well. So if I just copy this, let's see what it does. Okay, cool. Nice. Let's do this. Okay, cool. Change it to UK. Yeah, so this is stuff. Cool. Let's get rid of this. Save this. So again, we're just keeping this at the bottom, but the thing is at the top. And so we'll try again, and we'll see what happens. I think that wasn't too bad though. I don't know whether it's like engaging. We need like a better voice. Uh, let's have a look. Yeah, we'll do this one. This one's great. Yeah, wicked. So let's go to conversational AI. Let's go to the agents. Let's go to podcasters, agent language. Let's go to the voice. We want. Yeah, lovely. That'll do. Okay, cool. So if I just think about what I want, um, let's test this. Right, it's actually talking too slow as well. So let me go. I think there's a speed. Oh, max conversation 300. That's why it ended. So I will go 3000. Save. Security note, fine analysis. Okay, voice. Speed. Let's speed it up slightly. See what happens. I'm going to change it back to Archer. Yeah, cool. Didn't save it. Is there an English like UK? I think there is. Save this. Cool. Let's test this now. Awesome. Thank you, buddy. Where should we start? No, but you can share like what I've done, just as a first pass context, just to show that you've got some documentation there. Yeah, cool. That's way too long. That's just way too long. But yeah, cool. Let's continue with the podcast. Let's ask some deep questions that can teach our audience about like how to think of AI and building AI and stuff. See, yeah, that's an example of like how you can self improve live. if you get AI to kind of create first and then you add notes in rather than you create yourself. Um, so like that question is exactly what I kind of want, where I am trying to impart my experience relative to my audience. And it's great that you can program that because the AI agents are like really, really good at figuring it out. So, sorry, going back to the podcast now. Yeah, so I'll continue the conversation with what the hidden patterns are. Typically, it's data capture. It's where data is, and so that's text, that's email, that's like everything. And I think that, you know, updates and notifications and statuses are usually a big time consumption when not properly front loaded into dashboards or, you know, live databases. I think downstream of that is a lot of communication error. So I think that's a big hidden cost. Phew, that's a tough question. That's good though. It makes me think. So that's very useful at least. So I think how one sec, I'm just trying to think of the question. Can you rephrase the question actually? I guess you just count. You just literally just count like how many emails, how many things get passed over, and you assign like a. You got two factors really. You got like a. You should do a matrix of like how much time you spend on it, obviously, but then second of all is like how much context awareness is required, so how much brain power is required, because something that is done low frequency but is high brain power still might be you still might want to have a look at AI to help you. You know, this is where creativity comes in, and going from 0 to 1 is really useful with AI, where you can brainstorm some resource planning, or you know, you've got this like long list of jobs that you need to do, but some new information comes in, then you can use AI to kind of refigure all that stuff out. That happens twice a day, but like it's so computational, so like high brain activity that it's actually very important too. It's useful to then go and use AI. So it's a couple factors there that I look at when talking to people. Awesome. I think just for the first live streaming, that's just enough for me to kind of tick it off. I'll definitely use this as well. Um, I don't know if I would need to. So this is like one of the things I run into is I don't think I need to like create this as an app. My first port of call was to, but I could just tell from like the SDK docs that I was just like I couldn't be bothered. So I couldn't research it either. But the main.py, what I really need is like some kind of, or what I really should have had is this 11 Labs. If I could quick start, and so it's optimized around this widget. Whereas actually, I would probably want to invoke the agent via something else here. But I guess there's a ton of JavaScript for like incoming, outgoing audio that needs to be done. So the secondary solution would be to uh, get the widget and plop it in somewhere using this code, and editing it slightly here as well. You can edit it with an image. But I think what's really interesting is like you can see from like my first step of this, just adding in some documents to the agent and plopping this onto a, you know, you could even do like a funnel or something where people can talk to your documents and they can talk to the custom information. They won't see it, but they can talk to it and they can ask questions about it. And if you add in a tool like um, web search, that then can even uh, client will trigger an event when the client starts the information from the call. Okay, yeah, fair. I get that. That's to pass the data on. This is to go and get some data. Yeah, and you can do a web search. Like you can even make the experience more rich. But as far as like getting conversations going and using, very decent LLMs, I would love to see Claude 4 on here as well. But even 4.1, more than good enough to just start conversations and get content going. I think it's super interesting. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully that was useful. I'm keen to see if there's decent pickup on this or people find it useful, and like watching me work through these problems is interesting. But yeah, just putting it out there. Hope you have a good day, guys. If you want any help with stuff like this, then give me an email and you'll join the waitlist and we'll see what we can do.